What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Clubit TV show. I am Roger Knowles, and this is a very, very, very special show. It is the Pokemon-themed Clubit show. I'm Roger Knowles, as I said before, but I am not alone. I am joined by Ed from GameHog.
Hello, everybody! My name is Ed from GameHog, and welcome to the special Pokemon episode. I'm very excited to be here. I am in the Let's Go hype for tomorrow night at midnight's release. I'm very excited. I'm in my Pikachu hat. Guess which game I've pre-ordered. I've got my Great Ball. I've also got Cyndaquil here, my favorite Pokemon, just sitting by, ready to get my chat on. But I am also joined by someone else, although I don't know who you've queued up next, Roger.
I'm leaving the expense here. I'm letting it build and build. So we're going to go with James. Bob James, Luke and James play. Even I let you threw me out.
Hi guys.
How are we doing, sir? I love your
I'm
t-shirt.
doing good. Thank you very much. Yeah, I thought with the Pokemon theme, I would went, with a whatever was in hand, really. A bit like
I only had one
reaching for bamboo, and I got Pikachu in a Magikarp outfit and Jigglypuff. So
See,
I'm good. I'm set.
Before we went live, you guys started testing me on actually some of the Pokeballs that you got on your shirt.
You did.
And I was like, I know the ultimate.
And we was like, what's this one? I don't know. What's this one? I don't know. What's
That's
this
your nipple.
one?
And I'm very, very happy to announce that we've also got Isla Mctear on the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello everybody. I've got my Pokeball and Letton, who is not in the right generation, but you know what are you going to do? And I'm very excited to talk about Pokemon Let's Go. I'm also feeling the hype for midnight. So yeah, I'm super excited. Excited to be here.
I've been excited for this for 2 weeks now when we've been planning it. I'm just like, Pokemon themed show. If you actually haven't checked out, guys, I've actually done a different layout, slightly different colors to theme it up with Pokemon.
Oh, very nice. I see what you've done.
You see, like it's when I'm bored at home. Well, what can I do differently to today's show? That'll do. But no, thank you so much for joining me, guys. This is going to be awesome. So it's all Pokemon themed today. We're going to be talking about Pokemon Go. We're going to be talking about the new trailer that has just dropped for Pokemon Detective Pikachu, and of course the game that's getting released on Friday, which is Pokemon Let's Go Eevee or Pikachu, depending on which one you're gonna odd. Don't forget, guys, you're watching live, so obviously we just had the pre-show. We're going to have the main show now, but also because you're watching live, you also can watch the post-show where we're going to debate whether or not I should pre-order the Pikachu version of Let's Go or the Eevee version of Let's Go, and I'm actually going to pre-order it live on the show. So, and have a little bit more chat about it as well. We're going to do a competition on the show as well. To enter, all you need to do is literally comment wherever you are watching this live stream. We live stream to Facebook, Mixer, Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter all at the same time. So you can comment wherever you are watching, and you are instantly entered to the competition. We're doing a Pokemon-themed giveaway. We're doing some stickers. We're going to do some what they call pullbacks. But if you do a lot of live streams and you're going to be live streaming Pokemon, these are some of the things that you could have on your shelf behind you. We're also doing, which I haven't done in the picture actually, but is hung up behind me. It's actually a Pokemon pillowcase, but I'm using it as
very
a nice. So all that is going to be in the giveaway. All you need to do is comment down below wherever you are watching, and you are instantly entered for the competition. And we will announce our winner in the post show. Very easy. Very, very easy.
Oh my God.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah. So, Isla.
Yes.
This is the first time on the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello.
Tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel. And tell us everything about you.
Oh, well, it's like dating, but speed dating. Anyway, my name is Isla.
I'll start a 3-minute timer now.
I know, right? And I do a lot of anime on YouTube. That's what my YouTube's about. It's about anime. If you're really into anime and you like either seasonal stuff, because anime runs, I don't know how many people watching this watch anime as regularly as I do, but anime runs in seasons. We're in the fall season at the moment. So I do reviews, little short 5-minute reviews on anime, and then I do kind of big discussions and debates about my favorite anime or my favorite anime of the season or different shows that I really like. And usually they're all very overly passionate, I guess, because I'm overly passionate about anime. So my aim is always to just hopefully you come away loving the thing as much as I do, or you just see how much I love it. That's really all I want to do, because I just love talking about my favorite medium in the world, which is animation. and the production process behind it and how it's made and the people that make it. So yeah, that's what I do. And I'm an editor by trade, so my videos are always like, I spend far too much time on them.
They look amazing.
I will say that Isla has actually been one of 2 people's contents that's massively inspired my own videos lately. So I do highly recommend people go and check it out because they're wonderfully presented, wonderfully edited, and they're super well informed as well. So they're wonderful videos, and they're regular as well. So if you want to have your regular anime analysis fix, go check out Isla's content. It's incredible.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Actually, mentioning one of your videos, actually, I'm going to refer to one of your videos right at the end of the live stream.
What?
And then I'm going to keep it a secret.
That's preparation.
I know. I'm going to refer to it, and then we're all going to have to do something in relation to that video. I hadn't told anyone. None of you guys know about this. I was cooking dinner about an hour ago, and I went, "Oh, that'll be funny." So prepare for that at the end of the end of the main show. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Isla. It's absolutely amazing to have you on the show, especially having it as the Pokemon theme show as well. So your knowledge will be coming through hopefully very, very well. But much better than me. I was getting really nervous and tweeting about this, and my
sorry.
Ed's fine.
I don't want to alarm you, Ed, but I can see your balls.
But I was a bit worried about my knowledge of Pokemon, so I've been trying to my knowledge of Pokemon refers around like Gen 1 and Gen 2, so anything beyond that, you've lost me.
Who's that Pokemon?
That's where I was thinking about this because I imagined at some point you were going to ask the question, so how up to date is everyone with Pokemon? And I had to have a think about this, and I realized that basically Gen 4 is where I start to wobble a bit. Like, I know most of them.
Yeah.
There's a couple that if you held them up, I'd be like, it's this
pencil case.
But then when you get to Gen 5, you really start to lose me. There's a handful that I definitely know. There's a handful I don't. And then by Alola, like in one of the recent trailers for Detective Pikachu, which I imagine we'll discuss later, there was so many Pokemon in there that I went, "What's that? I've never seen." I
was exactly the same.
And then when I watched one of those,
I was really excited.
Pokemon in the trailer, it's just ones I'd never heard of before.
I was like, "Oh, look, there's a Bulbasaur."
Well, there are so many though now, and so if you don't keep up with the generations, then you're never gonna be able to remember them all. And then with Pokemon, because Pokemon's a very kid generation thing. So like I grew up with Kanto, so that's why I'm really excited for Let's Go. And I don't care that it's in Kanto. Okay, I'm very excited to go back to Kanto, even though people are not. I'm super happy that we're going back. Even though we've been back 3 times, but whatever, I'm really excited about it. Whereas there are people who grew up in Gen 4, and there's kids who grew up with Gen 3. Like people grew up with Ruby and Sapphire, some people grew up with Diamond and Pearl, some people even now are growing up with Sun and Moon. And so and it's also connected to the anime as well. So like, when we were younger, when I was younger, whatever, like I was so connected to the anime, and that's what got me into anime and what got into Pokemon. And so my connection to Pokemon comes from Kanto, it comes from this original generation, and then into Gen 2, and then after that I kind of stopped watching the anime and then got back into it much later down the line. But like, Gen 1 and Gen 2, that's what I know the best is those 2 generations, and they mean a lot to me.
So you're talking about the anime, actually.
It is better than Gen 1, so in my opinion, Gen 2.
Absolutely.
I have to admit, I do think Silver and Gold were
the
best games that I'd played personally. I did try Ruby out. I don't really remember any of the Pokemon that were introduced in that one. But I do think Gold and Silver were the best games.
I'd have to agree, just because I think actually in a grander scheme, Gold and Silver, I don't know if we've already started the first topic, by the way.
Oh, no, you're right.
The way Gold and Silver is set up is actually the perfect way to do a sequel, let alone just a Pokemon sequel. Bear in mind, Gen 2 was meant to be the last one. So this was them going all out. I loved all the designs of the new ones. That's not to say that the newer ones don't have great designs, because some of them are great. It's just there was something about 2 that I really resonated with. I love the legendary beasts like Entei, Raikou, and Suicune. I really like the legendary birds, Ho-Oh and Lugia. I'm a big fan of some of the dark types that they introduced, like Murkrow, like Houndour, Houndoom, even something silly like Quillfish and Shuckle. I find all of their designs very interesting and unique. And then in terms of the sequel thing, it's set 5 to 7 years after the events of Red, Blue, and Yellow. And they show this in the world in the way that you actually go back and visit the same place. And Cerulean Cave has been filled in. Cinnabar Island has exploded because it's an active volcano, and one day it just went completely mental. And I like the way they did that because it shows, hey, remember this world that you experienced? It's grown. Time has passed here, and look how much it's changed. But you remember all this? This stuff's all here. And the fact that you got to have this new world with this new adventure, and then go back and repeat almost the same adventure, continuing the story that ended with Team Rocket from the last one. That's a great way to present a sequel. It's fantastic.
I got to admit, when it comes
to everything beyond there is a bit worse, you know.
Yeah, it's the best story. Wise, like I like Black Story, like the original Black and White. Like I think Gen 5 is an underrated Pokemon generation, and the story in Gen 5 is really good. But I like what you said, like the way you go back and it's changed in Kanto. It's also inherently Japanese. Like Johto is very, very Japanese, and its influence and its area and everything like that. So I absolutely love that about Johto. And the whole thing with the slowpokes and that area that's now just completely gone out of my head. But like the way the story develops and stuff and Gen 2 is my favorite. So I would agree with Ed.
When it got to the second one, Gen 2, like Ed said, they'd introduced Black, Steel, Dark, Steel, and it was like with that, it refined the types and sort of like you could almost see where some of the points were, well, we're missing some areas here, like psychic types were quite OP, and so it was like, well, let's introduce the dark types, and that's like your trump card for them. And they sort of really refined it down and really sort of polished it, what the Gen 1 had introduced. James, so what's your like previous experience with the Pokemon games and their different like different gens and stuff like that?
So I've played a few of them, but dotted around. So I never actually played them as they came out and stuff like that. I played the original ones like Blue, Red, and then Yellow. Played through Ruby, but that was quite a while after. And I'm Pokemon Diamond, I think it was. I played as well.
Did you play any of Gen 6?
No.
No.
Because I was too much into like console gaming and stuff like that. So I ended up not playing those ones. But I'm really
playing Gen 7.
I got to admit, with Nintendo Switch coming out, it sounds. I do think it's going to rejuvenate the Pokemon landscape.
That's the point of Let's Go.
Yeah,
that's the point of Let's Go. That's the whole point of Let's Go.
That's they were explaining like so many new people have come in because of Pokemon Go, and it's a lot of people where Pokemon Go is their first experience of a Pokemon game. So like trying to go from that into a Pokemon game as we know it would really put people off. But we need that new wave of fans for the next one next year.
So absolutely.
They're trying to bridge a gap between Pokemon Go and then the new one next year. And it's kind of like, don't do anything and then we get nothing and then we see how it goes. Or we create a between game and introduce them slowly. And I think it's a fantastic idea. I think it's going to work really well. But they've also catered for original fans by going back to Kanto and, you know, making it a successor to Yellow and stuff like that. Like, it's perfect.
And I don't have kids or anything, or even like young nephews and nieces, but there's a really cute trailer where there's a dad, I think it's a dad and his daughter, and they're playing it together with like one of the Joy-Cons each. And just the idea of like being able to go through Kanto because a lot of people my age now have kids and things, and being able to go through Kanto, the gen that you loved.
See, personally, I'm going to be going to be doing that with my son.
Exactly.
I'm super excited to do that.
I can relate to that.
I would be excited to do that.
Because I'm getting Pikachu, he's getting Eevee, so we're going to be trading and stuff like that anyway. Then we're going to play it together. It's just like we have a tradition. Every single time a Pokemon game comes out, we go and get it on the day of release, and then we both just sit and eat crap and play Pokemon all day. Yeah. So, and we're doing it with this one as well. So I'm super excited to do it.
I have to admit, like, I can relate to that because my girlfriend's daughter has never really been into Pokemon, and I've tried introducing her to Soul Silver. She didn't catch her. Yeah, that wasn't even fun. Played a little bit of Pokemon Go. Again, that didn't. Yeah, she couldn't get hooked on it. And then with this one coming out and it being a nice little bridge, like you say, and with it being 2-player, I think this could be a point where I could bring her in and say, listen, this is probably the game, and me sort of guide her through it. I think you should
Yeah.
probably play it then. Which actually kind of takes us on to the first topic of the show. The first topic of the show is... Oh, that's the pre-show low third. Get it right. There it is. Detective Pikachu trailer drops. So this kind of took me by surprise personally. I didn't realize this was happening. It popped up on social media and I was like, oh shit, what is this? So Pokemon Detective Pikachu trailer release. It's a live action trailer. Pikachu is voiced by Ryan Reynolds. I'm a little bit vague on the actual storyline because I believe it's based very loosely on the game of Detective Pikachu.
Very loosely. On the game.
So,
Mainly just by the title.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Isla, what are your thoughts on the trailer? And when you saw it, what was your initial reaction?
My initial reaction genuinely was like of disbelief. Like, I have watched live action fan made Pokemon trailers for years, and I have wanted a live action Pokemon for years just to see what it would look like, and it's exactly what I thought it was going to look like. Like like the way the Pokemon are designed. In fact, who was telling me this? My friend in work was telling me they got the guy. There's a guy who's really famous for doing the trailers. There you go. See, there's a guy who's really famous for doing the trailers, the fake Mon trailers for live action Pokemon, and they got him on board to do the designs for Pokemon Detective Pikachu. So I think that's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
I also think that after like it sunk in, and then I watched Birdkeeper Toby's video and his breakdown of like all the different things that were in it, and I watched IGN's video and the breakdown of all the different things that were in it. And then I watched the trailer like 5 times, and I watched it again, and it, like just to see what I really love about it is that it's not hyper focused on one generation. It's like, okay, look, here's the Sinnoh poster, and there's like Pokemon from Gen 5, there's a Rufflet, there's whatever, there's like all these different types of like Pokemon and themes in the world. What I love the most about it is the idea of this live action Pokemon world and what they could do with a world like that if it's successful. Like, you know, we've got all these generations, we've got all these places that we go to, we visit Johto, we visit Kanto, we visit Sinnoh, whatever. Then you've got this other universe, which is a little bit darker, a little bit funnier, a little bit more adult. And that really intrigues me as an adult who loves Pokemon. Like the idea of something that's a little bit risky, a little bit less hand-holding and child-friendly and family-friendly. So I am super into it, and I can't wait to watch it.
So, Ed, same question for you. Like, after this dropped, actually, before I say that, did you guys know this was going to come out, this trailer?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I knew that it existed. I didn't know the trailer was going to drop. But I knew that they were making it.
I was aware, but it was sort of one of those things where you hear a lot about movies, especially anime or kind of popular Japanese franchises that they'll Hollywoodize that never materialize because they buy the rights, they start producing the movie, and then realize, this has no legs. So I kind of imagined this would end up that way. So when the trailer did drop, I was a bit like, no way. And then, so when I started watching it, I thought, do you know what? Already it looks quite cool, like seeing a world of Pokemon. Yeah, they all look CGI as hell, but who cares? You're watching it and going, these are really cool, realistic portrayals of how a Pokemon might look. And then Ryan Reynolds voicing him is the one thing maybe I'm less comfortable with. I love Ryan Reynolds. Don't get me wrong.
Deadpool Pikachu?
I think it's a bit too it's the performance is no different, for instance, between him doing Deadpool and him doing Pikachu.
Ryan Reynolds' performance doesn't change him much anyway, if we're really honest.
No, and I suppose that's fair, but I do like Ryan Reynolds, and I know he's going to do a good job. And it, like, the trailer made me chuckle at a couple of bits. Mr. Mime is creepy.
Oh my god, but how amazing is he as well?
Not
and
just
the
Psyduck. Did you see the images of the Psyduck? Like,
when he explodes.
He's my favourite.
But... creepy.
The release of, like, I'm presuming that explosion in the trailer is him releasing his...
Well, they cut it to make it look like it is. There's a chance it isn't, but that happens in the anime, because that's why Psyduck gets headaches, apparently, is because it's got loads of psychic potential or something like that. So maybe that's a reason, but I'm excited to see it. It was really good watching all the what Pokemon were actually in the trailer kind of things. And you saw like an Audino, a Charmander, Dodrio, and then on signs and stuff in the background, there's like a Wooper and a Smogle or whatever it's called. There's loads of different things in there. I'm really excited to see it because it's about time we saw Pokemon on the big screen in some way, not in an animated way.
And what's interesting is they make an animated Pokemon movie every single year. So this year we're getting Mina Monogatari, or Power of Us, which is a stupid English title. I don't know why they gave it that shitty English title, but whatever. They could have just called it Everyone's Story. Like, that's how you translate it from Japanese, is Everyone's Story. So why would they call it The Power of Us? It really bothers me. Anyway, so we've got The Power of Us coming out, which is done by Wit Studios, who are a really good studio in Japan. The screenwriter is the screenwriter of the Ancient Magnus's Bride, which is a really highly rated anime. And we get one of those every single year. So the idea that we're going to get this brand new live action, darker movie is really interesting, because I was interested in The Power of Us because of who's doing it and the studio that's doing it. I haven't been interested in a Pokemon movie in years because they're very aimed at kids, right? They're aimed at a younger audience, and it doesn't match me anymore. So the idea of Detective Pikachu, that's interesting. And the world and all the, when they were breaking down the trailer, when you watch all the breakdown videos and all the detail that's in this world already from the trailer, how fun would that have been as a Pokemon fan to work on that and make posters of like legendary Pokemon fighting and the missing Charmander poster and the missing Squirtle poster and the Japanese writing versus the English writing and the kanji and the whatever. Anyway, it looks amazing. Super excited.
Do you know what? Do you know what I'm excited to think about is, I think you did touch on this a bit, Isla, was the idea that it'll open up more films in the Pokemon franchise if this does well. Because have any of you guys seen the Pokemon Origins? Is it called Pokemon Origins?
Yes. Yeah, the one that
Pokemon
was
Origins
released...
anime. Roger, Jim, have you guys seen those?
I haven't, no.
So Pokemon Origins, I think it is available on YouTube, but it's the story of Pokemon Red and Blue told as an anime, and it's really good. It's the story you would have played through Red, Blue, and Yellow, but through that, and it's really, really good. It's very short. You can do it in an hour of your life. Watch all 4 episodes, and I would love to see them do this, to do a big, gritty, realistic-looking Pokemon game of the Pokemon Origin storyline, because everyone knows it, and even the newer generation now might not know it, and it's a really nice story. And if you can tell it well, that would be exciting. So I'd like to see them try that, or a series. Series are more the way forward.
A series.
I would way prefer a series. Yeah, you could feel so many more plot points if you did.
Yeah, and I just prefer having a long series to watch. Like, you just absorb so much more.
Rather than having that 2 hours of fix, you've got.
Yeah,
it's cozier having something that you get.
Like, you watch a film and then you go home and then it's like, well, I know it's like at least 2 years until I'm going to see another one. Whereas a series, you can just space it out. I like so.
Good point, well made, Jim.
That is true.
James, what
the budget we need to be Game of Thrones level budget.
Sorry, say again, sorry?
So we need to be a Game of Thrones level budget for all the CGI.
Yeah. Oh, yes,
absolutely.
So we need to be Game
you don't want to be half-assing it.
No.
So, James, what are your thoughts when you saw the trailer, when it dropped?
I was super excited. Like, the one thing I did note is the fact that I'd liked that they not done it in kind of like a normal Pokemon setting. So they've gone for like a main city. Where, like, obviously people, like, Pokemon exist in the world, but it's not like everyone's a trainer running around battling and stuff like that. Some people just live their lives as normal, as though, like, Pokemon are just animals walking around, but they have no interest in going and catching them or things like that. So it's kind of like, you'd have other cities, like out in the countryside maybe, where that is what everyone does, but we're in the city where people would just see a Pokemon and carry on walking past.
We didn't see a Pokeball in the trailer.
No.
I did think that, actually. I was thinking, like, are we not going to be? Is Pokeballs not a thing, or is it going to be?
Well, that would be interesting.
I would imagine they are. I don't think you could have a Pokemon world without Pokeballs.
Do you think it's going to be like an animal rights thing, where basically it's like cruel keeping
I don't know, but,
Pokeballs?
Like, I did notice that there weren't any specific like trainers and stuff. There were like arenas.
That looked quite underground, though.
Yes.
But is that going to be like dog fighting?
It does look a bit
like UFC for Pokemon.
But I'm kind of glad they went for that setting, like not following a specific set of trainers around battling gyms and stuff like that. I'm glad they went with something weird and kooky like they have.
What they went for was a real world.
Yeah,
that's what they went for. They went
exactly
for,
what I was just about to say.
That's what they've gone for, and I think the interesting thing about that is it's to entice everyone. Like, because when you're a kid, right, and you grew up when you watched Pokemon, I know I'm not speaking for myself when you think I would have loved a Pokemon. I would have loved to have had a Charizard or anything. Like, I would have loved to have been a Pokemon trainer.
You say that, this is really weird. I had a story of that, and I went to Asda when I was really young, and there was this point where they had very first brought out these Pokemon plushies that turned inside out into a Pokemon. and I had a Psyduck one. So yeah, it would have a zip, like, zzz, and then you undid it, and then it would turn into a Psyduck. You could zip it back up, and it would be a ball. I carried that around with me for months, and I would pretend that it was my Pokemon. Yeah, so I got to live that theoretically.
I have to admit, I did lose my shit a little bit when we saw Bulbasaur on the trailer. I was just like, I really, really, really want a Bulbasaur. There's just something about
I love they haven't made them cute as well.
Yeah, they're just like,
same,
and it's like,
same.
and they're all there, just wandering around. It's like, it's just so awesome. I got to admit, when I first saw it, because I didn't know anything about it, the story got shared on Facebook, and I actually thought for half a second, is this real? And I was like, you know,
I imagine a lot of people did. To be fair,
and I was like, because I watched it, and I was like, is it real? Is it real? And then actually, when I heard Ryan Reynolds' voice, that's when I was like, this is actually put it to a point where like they wouldn't have got a main actor like that to do this if it had been fake. But like I said before we started the topic, my girlfriend's daughter isn't really into Pokemon. I watched this trailer. I went into the other room where she was playing on the PlayStation 4, and I said, "Watch this." And she watched it. And she went, "Oh, that looks so cool." And I was like,
boom! I've got
"We're
my
in," because like she'll go to cinema, we'll watch it. And then she'll
then get Pokemon Go on her phone.
She's just downloaded it, so I'm like, the next game's coming out on Friday, and I'm like, it's 2-player. I'm like, we'll be fine. And I'm just like, this is it. This is hopefully the point where she'll get into it, because she's about the same age when I started. She's maybe a little bit older when I got into it. I'm like, this could be the gateway for her to get into the games. And it's just almost trying to get over that hurdle of the learning about Pokemon and knowing the mechanics of it and all and everything like that. And with the next game coming out being a little bit watered down in that way, this could be a nice way for her to branch out into the franchise.
Yeah.
Plus,
I think so.
Like, I, when I was walking the dog as well, I was trying to think of like comparisons to the trailer and the world that they created. And a really weird comparison, which I'm going to make, so stick with me on this, is Blade Runner. When they created the world of Blade Runner, and you see him walking amongst the world in the city, and they've taken different cultures, and they've sort of morphed them into one, and you see like the unusual technology and things like that. When I saw the trailer, and you see him walk out into the streets, and there's Pokemon walking, I had this sort of feeling that was very Blade Runner style of merging cultures together, merging franchises together in real world, and like you say, giving that grittiness to it as well.
It does look a bit like that, you're right.
And that's what's the comparison that I was
Totally
making.
get that.
Yeah, I can.
Because they have the
that.
blended Japan and the blended Japanese culture and English culture, I guess, or Western culture. Even though it's a fully Hollywood thing, and the one thing I'll say about it is that we have never ever had a good live action anime
Adaptation.
ever. Nothing has ever been good, and Hollywood has never made anything good. Sorry, I should correct that. Japan have made good live action, but like they've made decent live action.
The Death Note one was okay, I think.
The Death Note one was fine. But what the problem with doing live action of an anime or a video game is that when you can animate something, animation is a limitless thing. So, you know, anime, whatever you can think and imagine, you can animate. When you translate that to live action, it doesn't always work, and that's the problem.
I think Bleach is
the
a good
willing
example
suspension of disbelief is
exactly
suddenly removed when it's no longer animated, because you're watching real people do it. No matter how sci-fi it gets.
Yeah, see, Bleach is like that. I saw the trailer for Bleach, and it just like the live action one. And it was just too weird. For live action.
I was about to use the Bleach one as an example for movies that get announced as like, oh, they're making a Bleach movie that never get made. But then I remember they've just announced it. Is there a trailer for it?
It's out.
It's out on Netflix.
Oh, the movie's
it's out on Netflix. Yeah, it's out on Netflix, dude. It's been out for a while. Like what, a month? Maybe.
Is it? Oh God, I've not even heard anything about it. Is it that poor?
It's all right. It's not bad. It's not super bad, but it's not amazing.
Is it better than the Death Note Hollywood one?
Obviously, anything's better.
In the chat, let me on Twitch says live action anime movies done right. No Death Note or Dragon Ball Evolution rubbish.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Evolution.
Dragon Ball Evolution. The guy in Dragon Ball Evolution admitted he'd never read the source material. Well, put it down then.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: like, if you're going to make something and not read the source material, then you need to make it something that's different, but still I guess faithful
Akin
to
to the
fans.
same
Like,
thing,
like
absolutely.
it's like what they could have done, what they did with Death Note. Sorry, it's not Pokemon. What they did with Death Note, is they took the source material, they ripped it apart, and they tried to do something different, but it didn't work because if you're going to use the same characters and names, it doesn't work. Like Light is cunning and charming, and Light and Death Note was not. So with Pokemon, with them taking Detective Pikachu and putting it in a different world and not having Ash Ketchum,
You don't have
not
anything to
having
base it against.
Team Rocket, you've got nothing to base it on.
But
So
it's,
that's
but it's
where I
still.
think the difference is gonna be.
That's what I was going to say actually, was that if they created this, it doesn't mean that that is not some form of either story in their world or it actually might have happened.
Now that would be
Yeah.
cool.
So
Although I don't know
things
about anybody else, but I don't want to see a live action Ash Ketchum.
No, I
No,
don't.
I don't.
No, it would
I'd
ruin
like
it
them to
totally.
maybe.
Or James,
Yeah.
or anybody that exists in the
keep
Pokemon
same
world currently.
personality. You would never get them looking right. You'd always be looking at him like, you don't look like Ash.
That's
Yeah.
why I was
You know what I
like,
mean?
that's where-
Like,
that's
how would
where
you
live
live
action
action
would
Brock? Is it
Yeah.
just a guy walking around with his eyes closed all the time? Like, it just wouldn't. Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't work. And
I
you-
like
that's
Brock.
how you relate
Again,
to
willing
Brock.
suspension of disbelief is all
Yeah.
removed in Pokemon.
But like, you
when
relate to
do
Brock because of his eyes. Like, I do anyway, personally. But like,
Yeah.
if
that. You
were to
relate
do
to
that-
him on the closed eyes,
Yeah.
thing, do you?
Yeah, but like, do you know what I mean? But that's like, that's the most distinctive thing about Brock in the animation. So if you suddenly
Absolutely.
Ash was like, hey,
I
Brock,
noticed his
here, and
gilet
on
first,
screen
you
walks on
racist.
this guy with big eyes and glasses, you're going to be
question
like,
is, do you think we'll see
Well,
this
they do.
joint?
What's interesting about Detective Pikachu is they do have a slight homage to Pokemon in the sense, if you notice that the girl hasn't talked, but she's ginger, like Misty, and there's a kind of Misty vibe about her. So there's an idea of that floating about
Mhm.
that, like, you've
I
got,
don't think
you've got a ginger, a redhead protagonist or a
But
female protagonist.
It's a really, really good way to introduce Pokemon in live action by doing it in this way. I think it's
Yeah.
really good. And who knows if this blows up, we may get another film where it's following a Pokemon trainer and maybe follow down a different
yeah,
path.
possibly.
It'll be interesting to see where they go from this. Once, obviously, it's not even out yet. But I'm always like,
Yeah.
further down the line, are we going to get a Marvel, Star Wars situation where we're going to get a few more coming? And they're going to be a series of films? Are they going to be loosely connected? Something along those lines.
I'm hoping it's going to be full of Easter eggs, though. That's what I'm hoping. Like, there's going to be loads and loads of stuff that like people like us lot will just see it and notice it in the
Yeah.
background, things like that. Maybe just like someone playing, like even just a Game Boy on like in the
Yeah.
background with Pokemon playing on it, like just where someone's put it on the ground, like just things like that would be amazing.
It's
It's
all that
cool.
world building that it already looks like it has, and world building is like the best way to introduce a world like that, because like you've got Pokemon, which is such a huge entity, and there's all these different generations and whatever, and being able to squeeze it all into this one world for fans alike, whether you started in Kanto or Sinnoh or wherever, Unova, doesn't matter. Like, there's something for you in it.
Yeah.
And it's not the story we've ever heard before, and it's
Yeah.
not related really to Detective Pikachu, the game. It's very listed.
Yeah.
Very, very, very listed.
Obviously,
just
we are
the-
breaking down the trailer, and obviously, it'd be interesting to see what more footage that we see as time comes around. I just think, going from what we've seen so far, it does feel like it's made by Pokemon fans for Pokemon
Yeah.
fans. It's someone who's obviously grown up with Pokemon and their sort of view on how they would see it in a real world. I think the
Yeah.
whole thing, it looks amazing. I can't wait to see more. Let us know down in the chat if you've seen the trailer, and give us opinion on it. Are you looking forward to it? Do you think it's going to be good? Are you apprehensive a little bit about it? Let's see what happens. Let us know down in the comments what your thoughts are. So, moving on to topic number 2. Obviously, this is the Pokemon-themed show. We're in the Clubit TV show, we talk about video games, movies, and so much more geekiness. But this is the Pokemon-themed show, so we're going to keep it within Pokemon. And we're going to talk about Pokemon Go.
Which I'm on right now. It never stops. Unfortunately, I've just found out there is a Buizel right near me, and I haven't caught a Buizel yet. But that's very frustrating. I might have to abandon the show, guys.
Can you
I
switch it
haven't
to your
got
phone
Weezer.
and then start running and like, I'm nearly there, guys. Like on the scene, Pokemon
live
Go.
stream.
You can do it as well
I
because you
can
can do it on
do that.
Discord. Yeah.
That would be awesome, actually.
That would be
So, currently, obviously, we know now, obviously, with Ed's answer to this question, are you currently active on Pokemon Go? Ed's a yes.
Physically
as it
right now,
runs
yeah.
off. Isla, are you currently
I am
active on
not.
Pokemon Go? You're not.
I am not a Pokemon Go active person at all. I am relying very much on my very good friends to trade me their Pokemon when it comes to Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. And the reason I'm not active is because I am not an active person. That involves exercise and moving. And who wants to do that? All right, I've got other things to be doing than getting up and going for a walk, you know?
I have to admit,
really, it's I switched a couple of phones over when we got Pokemon, and I was really into it in the very, very, very beginning. Loved it, was out all the time, and then I just kind of fell away from it, and then we were several generations on, and then I just never got back into it. And then we got the announcement of Pokemon Let's Go, and I was like, I should really get back into that, and I never. So I feel quite bad. I feel like
I've only recently jumped back in, I have to admit. I was around at launch, dipped away from it, got kind of a bit bored, and then with the announcement of Let's Go, was kind of, I've got, you know, obviously they are linking together. It would be really interesting. Ooh, what are you gonna get? We're gonna get.
Are you? Oh, that's from me.
It is.
An egg.
Yay!
And a potion. And 100 dust.
And that was it.
Hey.
So,
Should we
James,
send him one back, guys? Oh, I can't. I've already sent you one.
Lol.
it's when we all just start sending each other. So, James, what's your current status with Pokemon Go?
Oh, dude, I love it. It's crap where I live. Like, I'm going to give you an example as to why. Ed, could you please open up your Pokemon Go and show us the map? Okay, I'm going to give you an example here, guys.
I'm going to
Right?
do the same as well, actually.
Then I'm going to show you a photo after.
Now he's going to dox me.
Okay.
Okay, so for Stingmore
Zoom out.
sent me 3 gifts.
Zoom out as
So
far
for
as you can.
instance,
Okay, right. So,
there, that's heading towards Clapham
yeah.
Junction.
So look at all of that stuff, right? All of that stuff. Okay. Now I'm going to show you another picture. This is I was in London on Monday. All of those Pokestops, yeah. Every single one of those tiny little blue dots is a Pokestop. Yeah, that's London. Okay. Now I'm going to show you where I live and why I don't play Pokemon Go very much when I'm at home. Okay. That's my area.
Oh my
Wow.
Christ.
Okay. I'm going to spin. Okay. It is like that
Roger's got
everywhere.
the same.
See those? That is the only 2 Pokestops and gym in my area. The closest
are
one
near a
next to me is
Roger, what the hell's going on? You've
got.
got loads of stuff spawning for you.
Oh, yeah, like, I have loads of nests around me, so, like, loads of Pokemon do actually spawn around my house. I'm quite lucky with that. But I have no Pokestops, like, or Pokemon gyms. I'm actually going to try and... Can you suggest, like, somewhere to be a Pokemon, like, stop?
Not yet. You can in Korea, not
Right.
here. Not at the moment.
You can when you're level 40.
Right, because there's a pub
okay.
about there. I really
I'm
want...
bringing that feature to it. They're just beta testing
Get
it,
to level
but
five.
only
Okay.
top level players can do it.
Yeah.
I've become really obsessed because I obviously joined like you guys did. I joined at launch, but then I dipped out as well when it got boring. I came back when Johto got released because Johto's my second Gen 2 of my favorites. But the thing is, I then immediately launched in and went, oh, it's only Kanto Pokemon. Johto Pokemon are really rare to find because they've just been released, so they're making them special. So I caught a Dunsparce and went, sod this, I'm not playing this. So I left it. Then when Gen 3 came out, I thought, maybe I should jump back in because they've introduced a new gen. And so that's when I jumped back in, and that was maybe 6 months ago or something. And so I've been playing it non-stop for about 6 months.
Yeah,
and I've
you guys
even
talk about it all the time.
Well, I've joined a local raiding group. So, and here's the thing. Here's how much of a force I was in that. Is I joined this little local Clapham group. And I became really friendly with some of the guys in there. They're all really normal as well. You wouldn't expect that. But like half of them, you're like, oh, I didn't realize people like you play Pokemon Go. Fair enough. Like, you know, you just seem super down to earth and normal. I wasn't expecting you to play it. And then, you know, so you go through all those motions. And then we started posting memes a lot in the big WhatsApp group. And then I once swore. And because someone said someone's name is something like Tepid Dishwater. So I said, Tepid Dishwater. Fucking great name. Something like that.
Yeah.
And someone went, don't swear, please. I just thought, are you a teacher? Like, this is a group to have fun and play a game, and you're patrolling language. Like, so loads of people got really bothered by that. And then, because then he went, also, can we stop posting memes and pictures, please, and just keep the chat to raid chat? And it was like, way to put the dagger in the heart. So basically, 5 of us formed a new group that one of them nicknamed the Rebel Alliance. I'd no part in the name of it. And then we so now we've got this really kind of more focused group of people who are just having fun, posting memes, joking, swearing, doing whatever they want. And that group, we've become a really tight knit group. And then loads of us will go out and do raids some nights, and we'll walk from raid to raid to raid to raid. The thing is, we taper off during that because you get weeks of certain things. So for a long time, it was Mewtwo was the 5-star raid. So everyone wanted a good Mewtwo. So we'd all go out and we'd walk from raid to raid to raid to raid. Recently, it's been Giratina. And Giratina's shit, and no one wants Giratina. So we've all done enough Giratina to be like, oh, I've got one that's got 96 IVs, and oh, I got one that's all right, and then we just stopped. So at the moment, it's trying to get Tyrannitars from the level 4 raids, or I can solo level 3 raids. I could duo as a level 4 raid. I can only do a level 5 raid with 4 people. But there are some people who can duos level 4s and stuff. Jeez. Like it's really, level 5s. There are people who take it way too seriously and get quite into it. But I just like the fact that I can go out and collect strong Pokemon, and I like going for late night walks. I like going for a big old stroll down into Main Clapham Junction because there's this big area where, loads of stuff spawns. So I just like to wander down there with an incense on. And also, I've got a thing called a gotcha. And this is like the Pokemon Go Plus, but this one you can set to be automatic. So normally the Pokemon Go Plus goes, and it comes up with a green thing.
You've cheated on me, Ed.
Yeah, I'm sorry, mate. But so it comes up with a green light going, oh, that means, there's a Pokemon that you've got already that's nearby. So if you tap it, it'll go, and that will be how many times it's done the shake, and then it'll go and flash loads of colors if you've got it, or it'll go and have like a red light, meaning I got away, and then it'll have blue lights, which are Pokestop. But on this, there's a menu where you literally just set it to do it automatically on a little screen.
So you don't need to interact with it all. You just walk through the park and it gathers them all up.
It'll just spin, stops for you automatically. You can set it so that it doesn't attempt to catch Pokemon you've never seen before, because the Pokemon Go Plus can distinguish.
And what's that called?
It's called a gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's not an official one, but
they're really good. I was recommended it by Tom Burns, who's the organizer of Summer in the City.
So they've also introduced Adventure Sync as well in this last month.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It's very handy. So Adventure Sync is a way of connecting Pokemon Go to your fitness apps like Google Fit or Samsung Health or Apple Fit. And basically the way this works is when the app is closed or not running, it'll still tot up your steps and your calories burned and how far you're walking, and will contribute that to weekly rewards to encourage you to walk between 5, 25 and 50 kilometers respectively. And it will give you various different rewards for all that, etc. And it's kind of good. It's kind of handy because also it makes eggs tot up when you haven't got it opened. It's just a really handy feature, and it's about time. They started that off at level 40 cap because they use the top players as beta testers. And then they started rolling it down. I got it because I'm level 34, so I got it in the second wave or the third wave, and then now it's trickled down to you just have to get over level 5.
I think it's just reached me because I think I'm only around about level 22 or something like that. But yeah, I saw that pop in. It was kind of like an obvious update. It was kind of like when I read the notes, and I was like, well, that kind of makes sense, because the one thing I didn't like when it first launched was that I had to keep it open and then turned it down into standby.
Well, that's what these are useful for.
Yeah, because they track your walking and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, so when you close the app and it's running in the background, that's still going, and so that's fine.
I'm just going to run to the toilet. I do apologize.
No, that's fine.
That's all right.
To me, it sounds like it's got better though. Like since its launch, like it just keeps adding new features, and it's got better than it was before.
It is. It's gotten way better, because when it first launched, it was actually really barren, and something like tracking a Pokemon was impossible, because it would just have a number of footprints that would basically indicate if it was near to you.
Or it was hard to work out which direction that would be.
It didn't indicate the direction. It just indicated some kind of proximity, and that was even something like 15 kilometers. It would say it was nearby. So the thing they introduced was they would put landmarks and say, oh, the Pokemon are at these Pokestops, go find them. And that was a way better way of doing it.
Isla, with you not playing and not part of Pokemon Go, what could Pokemon Go do to maybe bring you in to play it? Like, is there anything that you would say this would really make me download it and really play it properly?
I think it's done everything that it could possibly do to get me back into playing it, because like, it's going to connect with Let's Go, so technically I should have got back into it now.
This was the time to get into it.
This was the time, way past the time. I don't know. It's weird. It's because, to be fair, Let's Go should be something I'm really into. And I probably would have it if like I traveled the way I used to. Now I drive everywhere. So like if I
they needed
still took
driving
the
update.
train, exactly. If I took the train like I always used to, if I did that, then I would definitely play it. Maybe if I had people to play with as well, because I don't have people in my area or around me that are really into Pokemon that would
That's
play
the biggest
Pokemon.
barrier.
Yeah,
if you have people who you can play, that's why I found
I don't have anyone to
local
raid
group.
with,
That's
or
the
anyone
thing.
to, like-
Raid, once you get to a point where you've caught everything nearby, boom, you find a point where you can't play anymore unless you have friends.
Yeah.
So that's why I actively sought out Jim's back. That's why I actively sought out one of these local groups so that I could do that. I could go out and actually play the game more. And now it's great. I have a bigger love for the game than I did before.
I do feel I'm starting to hit that wall now where I'm going to have to start raiding and doing something like that, because I am part of a local group. I just haven't got around to raiding yet, and sort of arranging to meet up with them and go take my dog for a walk and just use that as an excuse.
You'll do it once and then you'll be trapped because you'll go, it's really far.
I would do it. I just have nowhere to do it. So
well, Jim, you just need to come to London for one overnight weekend trip instead of for MCM, and we'll just go out and we'll go join all the others and we'll go on a little tour around London.
Dude.
Mass I raid.
Exactly.
I have to admit, when I was in Wales a couple of weeks ago, we visited a lot of historical towns and things like that, and there were Pokestops everywhere. It was amazing. It was unbelievable.
Glasgow's full, or it was when I was playing. Just tons
Just
of
loved
everywhere.
it.
I do remember when the height of Pokemon Go, and I loved this one memory that I've got of playing it where I found I can't remember the Pokemon. No, off the top of my head. I think it was a really shitty Pokemon. I think it was like Pidgey or Rattata or something. And it was in the middle, just by the subway station, and all these people like went to go get it. And then like, it was that kind of conversational thing of like, oh, are you playing Pokemon Go? Oh, you're here for this Pokemon. Oh, that's really cool. And then just like chatting, and then just this bunch of people, like that kind of bringing together of a community.
It was
type thing of
amazing.
just
I think that
random
was a
strangers.
phenomenon. I can't even say the word phenomenon.
Well, this is what my next Do You Remember is about, is discussing this period of Pokemon Go, because it was groundbreaking and it was
like
the
Pokemania
world.
back when
Yeah, exactly. In 97, it just took over the world over here again. But the thing is, now, if you join a community day in a public park, which is renowned for raiding, for instance, in where I am, there's Kennington Park is quite a renowned raiding spot because it's got X-raid gyms. If you do enough of, it'll activate an X-raid that you get private invites sent out to, and legendary Pokemon that only appear there come. So like, there's a lot of reason to go there, but it's got loads of really closely packed Pokestops that if you put lures on, all their areas cross over, so you get loads of concentrated stuff. And there's hundreds of people there just walking around playing Pokemon Go. The reason people are in that park is to play Pokemon Go on these community days. That's great to see. That is like being back in 2016. It's really
It was something really special because for me, it was like when I was in secondary school, like I loved playing Pokemon, but we didn't really talk about it. It was kind of like a hidden thing. Like you like Pokemon, if you play Pokemon, you were geek and you were a loser and all that sort of thing. And we had like a close group of friends, and we'd talk about it in secret. And we're like, "Oh, have you got this one?" Yeah. We're chatting about it and stuff like that. Because we're just worried about being bullied, basically. And then Pokemon Go came out, and I was just like looking around going, did you all play Pokemon back at school? And was it me just being really, really self-conscious? I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I was here from the start, damn it. Like, but it was...
I was one of those weird kids who was never ashamed of what he was into. So I was like, I like Pokemon. And then my mate's like, I like football. And that's weird. And like, well, go Bulbasaur. Like, I was the weirdo.
I used to run around in the big field outside of our school with loads of my friends, and we used to pretend to be Dragon Ball characters. So I can totally
nice.
Nice.
Also
I like
that.
We used to do the arcs of Dragon Ball, so we'd watch them and then we'd do the arcs. So like someone would be Cell, and like someone would be Frieza, and we'd go.
I have one of the best examples. We had a blitzball team at my school.
Oh
and
my
another group
God!
From Final Fantasy. So we had we had a blitzball team, and another group of friends had their own blitzball team, and we used to play blitzball at lunch.
That's great.
Fantastic.
The school nurse hated it because obviously it's quite an aggressive game. So like a lot of us always got hurt. But yeah, so yeah, we had a blitzball league. It wasn't like an official thing in like with the school, but with us and the fans of Final Fantasy.
Do you know
played blitzball. It was amazing. Loved
you
it.
brought up a really tragic memory of me from primary school. So I didn't like going out and playing in the playground and that because there was always people playing football and they'd always kick it over to you and then all run over and tackle all the ball while you're trying to play like Yu-Gi-Oh or something. Or it's just like, what are you guys doing? So we would go to the library and sit in and play there. And I attended the library so much to go and play things like Yu-Gi-Oh or go and play RuneScape with a group of mates that I was made a librarian. And
Amazing.
that was it. And do you know what made it worse? Is that wasn't like a here you can be a librarian. That was publicly announced during a big school
You were kind of like, I wanted to be a Pokemon master, but I'm a librarian master.
Well, that's the thing is, and they said in the middle of the thing,
trainer
and our
attacks.
newest librarian
Go, Moby Dick!
and then basically much of the camera swinging to me and me being like, in
Go,
the
Tom
audience,
Sawyer!
just head in my hands, like, no, don't do this.
Did you have a
publicly."
badge?
Did I have a badge, mate? We used to have so on our little school blazers, we would have our school crest there, which at the bottom had like a shielded bottom, and you would get little kind of almost like private rank, strips. And mine said librarian.
I love that. I also love the fact that you accepted the job of being librarian. You didn't.
I
just
did it with gusto. I did it with gusto.
God.
I was the best librarian. But the thing is, like, literally, all I did was play Yu-Gi-Oh, or I'd play RuneScape, and then they just went, "Do you want to be a librarian?" So, all right.
Don't you dare steal that book. What are you going to do about it?
Last thing is,
my Yu-Gi-Oh cards at you.
Do you know what? The only other time I got to abuse that sort of authority, because all the younger kids who were equally as dorky as you were would look up to you because you were the cool one who ran the library that you got to play Yu-Gi-Oh in. But the only other time I had that was when I was at school, in my secondary school, and I was in the top year in sixth form. And because I was at boarding school and we had prep time, one of the prefects, which I was, had to go around on duty and, supervise everyone was doing their work. And we had to carry around something that we called the book. And if your name was put in the book more than 3 times, you got an early morning or whatever punishment I chose. And so I could abuse this power to the point where I would there was a guy in my brother's year, 2 years below me, who we'd known each other because we also went to primary school together. So there was a bit of always banter between us. And there was one point where I walked in and went something like, he was on Facebook, Joe, perhaps. So I went, Cave, are you on Facebook? You're going in the book, mate. And he went, what? Come on, come on, there's a bit of a break. And I went, are you answering me back? That's a second nut in the book. And, then he'll go, oh. And he'll carry on silently. And then I'll hear him go, and I'll go, breathing, are you, Cave? That's a third listing. So here's the thing is I then gave him a custom punishment where I made him write, I will always listen to the prefect on duty in alternating colors for every word. And I did not want to see a repeating color scheme on a single line. So it had to be different for every single one. And I made him do that. He actually did it, which I was joking and didn't realize he'd actually do it, but he did it. And to really just push him out a little bit further, I read it. I just went, and he looked at me so heartbroken. And I just went, Cave, I'm joking. Like, I can't believe you actually did this. I gave him an extra snack as a result because at late point.
Here's a biscuit for an hour and a half of your time.
Yeah. Here's a Nutrigrain and a Ribena. Please don't tell the housemaster I did.
Because they're school treats. It's not going to be a freaking Kit Kat, is it?
Oh my God.
It's going to be an oatmeal cookie or a dry cracker.
These are all tales from boarding school.
That is so brilliant.
That is amazing. I think that is a brilliant point to end the topic.
Well done, Ed.
That is amazing. Well, have you ever been a librarian? Let us know down in the comments.
Answers on a postcard.
An abusive Actually, I know. Yeah, an abusive librarian prefect.
Power hungry.
With poor management skills.
Oh, that's amazing.
But he's got plenty of Nutrigrains, so that's all that matters.
Typical Ed abusing his
and then hands out crackers if he feels bad.
That's me. Here, have an extra biscuit. Have an extra Biscoff for your troubles.
That's the one that fell out the packet on the floor.
That is
Absolutely.
amazing. Right, on to our next topic of the show. Suggestions of the week. Or suggestion of the week.
Done.
What?
So, this is where we talk about absolutely anything. If that last topic wasn't actually sort of related to this. But anyway, basically, we can suggest video games, movies, books, apps, anything at all. Something that we personally enjoy.
Mortgage advice.
Mortgage advice.
Why not?
Personally enjoy.
All Chelsea building.
Are you
society.
interested in a mortgage? That's a good 5%er.
This is where we suggest it out to you, and hopefully you may not have heard of it, or you may be interested in it. It's something that you can check out, and then come back to us next week on our live stream and let us know what you thought to it. So, hands in the air, who's got something to suggest on this week's live stream? Yeah. James, have you got? You say you had something to suggest?
I do. I
Okay,
do.
cool,
Yeah.
cool. Right.
Why didn't you put your hands up?
I thought he said who wants to just suggest something first, and then my brain kind of zoned out. Was thinking about what I wanted to suggest.
You're honest.
Missed the rest of the sentence, which actually was who has an idea. So yeah,
It's
so
absolutely.
if we could redo it, Roger, that'd be lovely.
Okay, one more time. Well, I'll cut this into the video. Hands up in the air. For everyone who's got a suggestion for suggestions.
Oh, I do.
There we go.
I'm Jim. I misheard.
Isla, to say that this
I
is your
should have
first
just
week.
done it again, shouldn't I? Like,
And gone. Isla, this is your first appearance on the show.
Yes.
Would you be able to take the floor first?
I can indeed. So obviously, as an anime fan, what would my suggestions be? It's gonna be anime, isn't it? It's gonna be anime. Hey. So we are in the middle of the fall season, and if you're not a big anime fan, anime runs in seasons. So we're smack bang in the middle of episode 6 of what's running in the fall, and we've had the best year, personally, in my opinion, the best year of anime we have had in years. This has been solid every season. Great shows. However, if you want to catch up and you want to watch some good stuff from this season, there is a great anime called Sesshoun Botta Yaro Abani Gal Senpai no Yumi wo Minai, or translated
I'll
badly.
just write that down.
Yeah, do that. So it's a light novel. That's why the title's so long. And when they adapt anime into light novels, the title's always massively long. Anyway, it translates to "Rascal does not dream of bunny girl senpai." And I know it sounds really weird, and everyone thought it was going to be. Everyone thought it was just going to be a write-off, and it wasn't going to be good. But it is a fantastic anime that's heavily reliant on dialogue and requires you to be a little bit intelligent and think about what's happening. So it's about this girl called Mai, and she has suddenly started to disappear in the minds of people around her. So nobody's seen out and about, nobody knows who she is, and she was famous. She was this famous kind of like actress, child actress, and nobody remembers who she is anymore. So one day she's in the library, in order to see and kind of spark people's imaginations or minds, she wears this bunny girl outfit and walks into the library to see if anybody will recognize or see her, because she's wearing this outlandish, ridiculous outfit, like with bunny ears and, you know, proper old school bunny outfit.
Did Ed get a book out?
You know, yeah. And Ed was a librarian, and Ed
You can't wear that in here.
It was
Excuse
That's
me,
a
that's
mark
against the
down.
rules. Yeah.
And the story follows the one guy who can see her, who is a character called Sakuta, and what happens from there. And it's based on a light novel that's got several other light novels. And in Japan, a light novel is like, I guess, a smaller novel than our regular fiction books. And so there's loads of other stories, and the syndrome is called puberty syndrome. And it just sounds like, from the title and description, everything, it sounds like it's awful. But if you like kind of heavy dialogue, and you like really smart, funny anime or really smart, funny shows, is really interesting. And the first 3 episodes is some of the best anime I've seen this year. It is top notch, and people really like it. It's very highly recommended, and for people who watch anime or who are really interested in anime. So that is my suggestion. If you're not into that,
What was the name of that one? Sorry.
that Bunny Girl Senpai. So it's Rascal does not dream of Bunny Girl Senpai would be how you would find it on English websites.
Rascal does not dream of Bunny Girl Senpai.
It doesn't translate well. Seishon Botayaru wa Bunny Girl Senpai no Yomi wa Minai isn't Rascal isn't really a Japanese word. The real translation would be Pig Boy does not dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. But they translated Rascal because Rascal, Pig Boy just sounds really weird. It's like it's not a real translation of anything.
Okay.
So that would be the real translation of it. But yeah, it works better with that. Even though the title is really long, with a lot of Japanese titles and things, they don't translate well into English, and this is a very good example of that. It's like, what am I watching? Rascal does not dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. What the hell is that? But it's actually very good.
I get what you mean.
Would fully recommend. Watch on Crunchyroll. And you can watch it in the dub on Funimation if you are a fan. If you're a dub fan, it's getting dubbed on Funimation. If you're a sub fan, it's available to watch in the original Japanese on Crunchyroll.
Gibran's just asked actually, Isla, would you be so nice to type that into the chat for us?
I can type
because I've tried and failed. That's on Twitch.
Let's see. I can do that right now.
Thank you very much,
Mate.
Isla. You're an absolute star. Thank you very much.
No worries.
So. Over to actually, Ed. Do you mind if I finish on you because then it ties it in with the Pokemon theme?
Steady on.
You know what I mean. James, over to you, sir. What is your suggestion of the week?
Okay, I need to ask because for some reason in my brain I feel like this has been suggested before. Have we suggested Final Space?
I don't believe so.
Oh, yes, last week I did.
You did.
Oh,
okay,
yeah, I wasn't
that's
here
where
last
it came from. Okay, that's fine. So.
I would come back to you.
It for me a little bit. No. I think I can think of something.
Not on the spot.
Not on the spot. No.
Do you want me to come back to you?
Yeah.
I'll come back.
Because I've all of a sudden just had this rash thought of, shit, didn't they do that last week? Damn it. Yeah. So,
I beat you to it last week. I'm afraid that was my suggestion as well. Good though, really good series on Netflix. If you like your
yeah, it is. It's amazing.
If you like your Rick and Morty, but a little bit toned down sci-fi anime, that's amazing.
What about Diablo 3 for Switch, Jim?
Oh, yeah, good one. Yeah. Diablo 3 on the Switch. Excellent. Well done. I know we touched on this last week.
You did do this one suggestion of last week as well.
Did I? Damn it. Ed, you've set me up to look like
I wasn't here. You were there. You should know this.
My memory is terrible. How could you? You need to help me, not abuse me.
I'm sorry, Jim.
That's a markdown.
That's a markdown. Sorry,
That's
I'll
a
go tell
markdown,
the other
my friend.
librarians that I
That's
failed.
right. Yeah.
Well, I'll go next. James, you have a few minutes to have a little think about it. My suggestion is something I actually mentioned last week, but right at the end of the post show, and it was in referral to Diablo 4 not getting announced at BlizzCon 2018 and big fan backlash and everything like that happening. And it's Path of Exile. And the reason why it's suddenly come to the forefront for me is because it's just announced that it's coming out on PlayStation 4 in late December. It's been out on PC since 2013 and then since then come out on Xbox. And it's an RPG isometric view game. So if you like Diablo, this is very much in the same sort of vein. But personally, for me, I would say it's a lot more. I wouldn't say hardcore, but it's certainly a lot more in depth for like skill trees, and that's where like the Path of Exile comes from. Before we went live, I grabbed a Google image of the skill tree. I'm going to bring it up on the live stream now, and it is literally like a spider's web, and I do believe it changes depending on what class you are. I'm very vague. It's been a long time since I played this.
Oh, wow.
And so you start basically in the middle, and you can choose where you want to go. And you can like pretty much double back on yourself and find whichever path you suit, really. And obviously each one has some passive abilities, some are actual direct abilities that have effect on your character. And in comparison to Diablo, this is ridiculous. This is like, when I saw Diablo 3, I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I saw that, and I was like, God, Diablo's got nothing on Path of Exile. So if you do like those sorts of games, definitely check it out. And the best thing of all, it's free to play. So all all you need to do is purchase the expansion packs and things like that, or some of the costumes and things like that. It's just one of those sort of games. If you like that genre of game, you'll like Path of Exile, and with it being free,
bonus.
Yeah, kind of a win-win. There's something that I mentioned at the end of the live stream last week, and I was like thinking of what to suggest this week. And I was like, well, kind of should just suggest that and put it in the main show. But like I said, it's certainly something to check out. It's coming to PlayStation 4 in late December. It's available right now on Xbox and PC. Check it out if you enjoy those sort of games. Definitely my suggestion. Enjoyable. Very, very enjoyable. So, James, are you okay?
Yes, I'm okay.
Have you got an idea?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Over to you, James.
Okay, so if this is for all Switch owners, I'm hoping there's quite a few of them out there. I know that Pokemon's coming out on Friday, so that's going to be a main focus. However, there is a game that's coming out on the Switch called Warframe. I don't know if anyone has played Warframe. Amazing game, absolutely fantastic. Again, a free-to-play game, so everyone can jump in on this one. It does have some kind of pay-to-win aspect on it, but it doesn't really. Like, anything anyone can get paid, you can get for free. It just takes you a little bit longer, but it's not huge amounts of time. But it's absolutely amazing. It's an incredible co-op shooter as well. But it's coming out on Switch on the 19th of this month. And it's going to be free to play. But it's amazing. Like, you are this war machine. And you can upgrade your war machine, your suit. You can fully upgrade guns and mod them and stuff like that. You can go to different planets and do different missions and things like that. But it's a really good game. Like, it's really in depth. And it's real time as well. So like armors and stuff like that. If you set an armor to craft, it can take anywhere up to 48 real hours to craft. So you actually like, okay, I'll craft this, and then you're playing, and then a couple of days later you're like, oh, sick, it's finished. And then, but this is overnight as well. So if it's like one that takes 12 hours, you do it overnight. You wake up tomorrow, you got this fresh new armor to play. But it's like really good for co-op as well. It's amazing. For that to be coming out on the Switch and be mobile is going to be amazing. The fact that it's free to play is even better.
Amazing.
Awesome. And if
So I highly recommend that.
in relation to that, actually, if you're interested in finding out a little bit more about Warframe, there's a YouTube channel called NoClip. It's run by
Oh my
Danny
god,
O'Dwyer.
I love NoClip.
Unbelievable. He did a
Unbelievable.
documentary on the company that did Warframe, if I remember correctly. Either that, he's either did a video or he did a podcast on it. I can't quite remember which one. And they discuss about when they were choosing what, how they were building their business model and them getting it over onto PlayStation, because it was at the launch of PlayStation 4. Warframe got released, and it sort of it did okay, and then they did a few other things, and it eventually now they're doing great, and it's really really interesting piece about the company themselves and some of the struggles that they had to go through. But so you've heard of NoClip?
Love NoClip.
Amazing
Love them.
documentaries, unbelievable,
Incredible.
really, really good.
Like the best stuff to watch. I love Danny. I've been following Danny for a really long time, like back when he was doing stuff on GameSpot and his show on GameSpot. I think he is a great journalist.
His voice as well just comes across.
His voice is great.
Yeah.
His voice is great. And he's also incredibly creative in how he conducts everything he's ever done. Is always done with such creativity. I think he's a great guy. When he left GameSpot, I was sad because I loved his show.
The Point, and I used to watch The Point quite a bit and on GameSpot, and when he left, I was like, I actually, when he left, I stopped watching a lot of content on GameSpot. I think he was the main pull for me for his pieces. What he used to do were amazing. But very, very, very good. Very, very good. Especially, I love finding about little
his
pieces.
The Witcher documentary is amazing. You should go watch.
Oh, yes.
That is
that's another
so
suggestion of the week.
Yeah.
NoClip. Check out NoClip YouTube channel. Very, very good. So, Ed, over to you, sir.
Eduardo.
I've got 3 things, and I'm not sure which to pick. I guess I can do them on different ones. Do I go for the anime or do I go for the game?
It's up to you. Tyler, up to you.
Up to you. Go for it.
Okay, so I'm going to recommend my favorite anime of all time, which technically has a game that's sort of tied into it for the PlayStation 2 that's also my favorite game. But it's a series called Orphan, or it's pronounced Orphan, but it's spelled Orphan. And it's basically, in Japanese, it's Majutsuchi Orphan, which means, well, I think the English translation is Sorceress Stabber Orphan, which doesn't really work.
That's what I mean about Japanese names not working when you try.
They don't work, do they? Yeah, so that it's just called Orphan. Basically, it follows a guy called Krilancelo Fenrari, whose nickname is Orphan. He calls himself that after rejecting his institution of sorcery that he works at and fleeing. The reason he does that is because the orphan girl he was raised with, who he looked up to as his older sister, in a quest for more power, transforms herself into this giant beast that becomes known as the Bloody August. And the series follows Orphan, his apprentice Magic, and their kind of associate Cleo, as they basically try and turn Azali back into her human form. This entire time, the head of the Tower of Fang, who is Orphan's old institution, are trying to stop him from turning her back. And you don't know why. Are they trying to help, or are they trying to just stop Orphan? And it's a really interestingly dubbed anime because it doesn't sound like cliche anime does. It sounds like a very naturally delivered English dub, which, considering a lot of stylized choices you get of English dubs now, English dubs have a very tonal quality to them. Dialogue has to sound a particular way. There's a delivery style.
Seven Deadly Sins. Is that just the impression you did there?
Yeah. So, like everything has to sound in this exact way. But this one, it was late 90s, so it was just before these trends had set in. And as a result, it's very interesting. The Japanese one, I will say, I've only just found the sub. And it's a bit more interesting because they make some annoying decisions in the English dub, such as Orphan casts all these spells that are really cool. And he kind of puts his hand like this and shoots them, a bit Dragon Ball Z style. But the thing is, in the English dub, he'll say something like, try this one on for size, and then shoot it. But in the Japanese, he'll say sort of how, Harry Potter will say Expelliarmus as a command. In the Japanese version, he actually says a spell name. But he'll say a command along the lines of sword of light that I do release. Things like that for shooting a beam of light.
Much better.
It's so cool. And it's so poetic. And those kind of things I adore. And it's just it's a short series. It's only about 30 episodes. It's really easy to get into. The score is very magical. And it's just great. It's my favorite. And then they made a game that was one of the launch titles for the PS2 called Orphan Sign of Sorcery. I'd also recommend that. I could gush about that for ages. But it's a game with immense replay value because it makes you replay it at least 3 times to cover a different story and therefore a different game. So basically the world of Orphan, Majutsuchi Orphan, or Sorceress Stabber Orphan, or Orphan the Scion of Sorcery. These are all things I recommend you check out. There is also, they made a sequel to the anime called Orphan Revenge that is loosely sequel, but is also aesthetically totally different and is also a comedy. It was designed just to follow it up and capitalize, but is not the same. The first series, really, really good. I'd recommend
It's not a manga as well.
It is a manga, yeah. The manga's a lot more detailed. It's also light novels. And I think he's actually carrying on the story now, or as of last year, which is super exciting for me. Because there's only a handful of fans. If it weren't that, I'd also recommend people check out Katamari Damacy Reroll that's coming out on November 30th on the Switch. Because Katamari Damacy is awesome.
I feel like I want to recommend an anime now. Gantz and Gantz Zero.
I've never seen those or heard of them.
Oh, Gantz is good, and then Gantz Zero is just a masterpiece. I love it. I love the idea behind the story.
I don't know if Gantz, you could even watch Gantz anywhere now.
Gantz Zero's on Netflix. I don't know about the actual anime Gantz.
Nanatsu no Taizai on Netflix, I'd also recommend.
Yeah, Gantz Zero's on Netflix, but I love the story of Gantz. I love how their perception of the afterlife. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, Gantz is a good anime.
I've just got a list.
But that's why I like Dead
now.
Like Me. That's why my recommendation of Dead Like Me was why is because it's a different look on the afterlife.
Sure.
And Gantz is the same.
So is Norogami. That's also a different take on the afterlife as well. That's a good anime. It's funny. That's dead funny. And Blood Lad. That's slightly the same, but people come from.
Oh yeah, I've seen this.
That's quite fun. That's really short. That's only 10 episodes.
Blood Lad. It's on Netflix. I should watch that.
Yeah, it's 10 episodes. It's at 10, and it kind of ends a little bit abruptly, but it almost feels like it was really getting into itself. and then
Mhm.
it just
My
kind of
list is
stops. But
ridiculously
it was really
long.
good.
I've got a lot of watching to do until next week. Well, thank you so much, guys, for the suggestion of the week.
Hey.
So on to our final topic. It'll be a long show tonight.
Yeah, no kidding.
Is Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. So
Woo.
we actually had a little chat about this before we actually went live. So just basically, I better turn my page with my notes. There we go. I'll be professional.
Turn.
So, first question: how does this game that's coming out on Friday differ from the original games that we know and love? Go on, I'll take that one over to James first. How does this differ?
Okay. So I think the biggest and most obvious one is how you see and catch Pokemon. I think that's the biggest one. There's a lot of underlying ones that I want to go for one that most people are going to be aware of, because there's a lot of stuff like, I'll leave it up to you guys to go, but like breeding and stuff like that, all of that's like more extensive stuff. But the battling is now literally, you no longer battle the wild Pokemon, like you don't weaken them or anything like that. It's encountered exactly as Pokemon Go is. Mm-hmm. So you are walking through the world, but the difference is this time you can see the Pokemon walking about. Ed had this lovely sort of example of what it's like, and he was like, it's like kind of when you're walking through one of those butterfly reserves and you can see all the butterflies just floating about, and you're just like, oh yes, a nice butterfly over there, yeah.
But eventually
Cool
one will just go.
Yeah, and then one of them will run at you, and then it goes but and then when it appears, it has the circle that goes down, and then you use the motion controls to throw the ball. But you can use candies and stuff like that.
You could also do it
raspberries
without that as well. You can do it in handheld mode by pressing the A button instead of doing motion controls.
So I think, so that's one of the major differences, is you no longer battle wild Pokemon. It's all done like in Pokemon Go. But I think we made it a good. Me and Ed discussed it a little bit, because he was kind of like, it's kind of boring walking around after a while seeing them bowling about, because it's kind of like I've seen them now, so that it's just Rattatas walking about and things like that. But I said it would be amazing if this is implemented into Gen 8 games,
Which it will
because
be.
then
It's got to be.
Yeah, because then instead of seeing Pokemon that we know and love walking about, and we're kind of like, I've seen
every generation.
Every single Pokemon that going into Gen 8 walking about will be new. So you'll just be walking through all of these areas and going, oh my god, what's that? Walking over to it, and
that's going to be cool.
Yeah.
Don't, like, people keep saying that, oh, it's just boring. It's not. I don't like the fact that they walk about and stuff, but like, use this as an example as to what it's going to be like with all brand new Pokemon. Like, take in mind that these are Pokemon we know, so it's not that exciting to see them. But once we get new ones, it's going to be amazing.
It feels slightly more realistic that Pokemon will be walking about. Though,
absolutely.
Yeah, massively.
Like I said to people, like, it's always been that way. They were just hidden.
Yeah.
In the game, so they were walking around. They were just invisible.
Yeah.
So,
we're moving on a console, so I had to take a step up in some way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I think it's a good move. Taking away the battling of the Pokemon in Wild, I don't know. I need to play it to kind of see how I feel that fits in. But yeah, that's one of the biggest differences. Like, on the surface.
Question. So before you would battle the wild Pokemon, and then your Pokemon would gain experience.
Yes.
To level up.
You gain experience dependent on what if you use them. It's kind of like in Pokemon Go at the moment. You get more XP if it's your first ball, if it's a great or excellent throw, if you use a berry, if it's a curveball. I don't think you can do curveballs in this though. So it's.
I think you can, but I'm not sure.
I'd have to try. Maybe you can with Pokemon Go Plus. I couldn't do it when I tried it the other day.
Okay, so maybe you can't.
I'm having a look for I found it. So for those of people who maybe don't want to know, I do have a list of things that happens, because what Jim was talking about was the fact that Pokemon run at you. And the only reason that becomes a problem is when you're doing a new mechanic, which is called catch comboing. And basically the catch counter comes up. So let's say in the Viridian Forest area that I was playing, there were loads of Rattata, Butterfree, Zubat, and Meowth. And Meowth would just like run at you. And so if you were trying to catch combo Zubat, that would screw you. So you've got to avoid things like that. And also Abra, if it sees you, will just teleport away. So you have to sneak up on an Abra. But the thing is with these, if you manage to combo things, you get loads of benefits. If you catch nothing, it's not, the chances of being a shiny are only one. By the way, if anyone doesn't want to hear this for some reason, spoilers, I guess, for how some of the mechanics work for shinies and IVs. Basically, around the point where you get to 12 captures in a row, or technically 11 catch combos, you've then got to 4 IVs that will be perfect IVs out of 6. And then also it'll double the chance of it being shiny. Once you get up to, 21 catch counters in a row, that's when you get 5 IVs and 3 times the shiny chance. And then a chain count of 31 or higher, 31 seems to be where it plateaus, you get flawless on every IV, and it's 4 times as likely to be shiny. So those are pretty important stats for people who want to grind that stuff out.
We've got a question in the chat, actually, from Ellen on Twitch. Says, when playing co-op, does the second player get to customize character, have their own inventory, or bring over save files, etc.?
No, unfortunately,
it's purely just for the benefit
a guest
of wiggling
character.
the control. Yeah, it's a randomized guest character, I believe.
So unfortunately, not. It would have been very good. I think. Just
they take your Pokemon. So I imagine if you've got
if you have 6, then it's the first 3 and the second 3.
They'll take the Vulpix or whatever's next up.
So
and
like
I think
an assist rather than a actual.
But they can pick a Pokemon to walk behind them.
Cool.
Yeah,
I mean, one of the reasons as well, because they brought up the fact they didn't have cloud saves. I think is one of the reasons they're not doing online co-op, is because with cloud saves you can save in the cloud, trade someone a Pokemon, and then reload your save and still have it. The thing with online games as well is you can trade a Pokemon and then turn the system off, turn it back on again, and then it'll reload the last save that it knew of, which is that. So you can duplicate items that way as well. So I think that's why they've not gone for the online multiplayer kind of thing, because you can basically cheat your Pokedex and stuff like that, and that's not what Pokemon is about. No. Like, you've never been able to cheat Pokedexes, really. So
I've got a question for Isla. In comparison to in comparison to the previous Pokemon games, how excited are you for this one? So all the other ones that you're excited for in the games and everything like that, how does it rank with them?
Well, interestingly, I have always bought both Pokemon games. Every single generation I have bought. I've bought red, I bought blue, I bought gold, I bought silver, I buy both. I play one fully through with my starter, then I leisurely play the second one. I've done it with every single generation without fail. With this one, I'm only buying Let's Go Pikachu because I think I can only get a certain amount of benefit out of it. So I'm very excited for the game, and I can't wait to play it. And I'm excited to have my first Pokemon game on the Switch. I think that's going to be awesome. But do I think it's got replay value enough for me to want to play Let's Go Eevee? No, I don't think so. Not for me, because I know it's not Gen 8. It's not the next generation of Pokemon. I know it's going to be me revisiting Kanto again, and I want to do that once, and I'm going to do it. It's going to be fun, but I'm not going to go out and buy Let's Go Eevee and do it again. Yeah. Just going to do it once, which is the first time I've ever done that. I always do it. Always, since all the way back. So, and that is the reason. It's like I just don't feel like I'm going to be able to get more replay value out of it. It's not going to hinder my enjoyment of playing it on Friday or whatever. Like I know I'm going to love it. I'm just not going to love it enough to play it twice, which is interesting for me because I do that all the time. But I am excited, and I can't wait to see how it plays differently in the look of the Pokemon world and playing it on the Switch. And I am very positive about the games. I don't have anything negative to say about them because equally, like, even though it's a main Pokemon game, main gen or whatever, I don't really see an issue with it, even if it's not got all the things that Pokemon generally has, even if we can only catch Kanto Pokemon in Alolan Kanto forms. Like, even if that's the only thing that we can do, for me, that's fine. Like, I'm not looking to go and catch Gen 4, Gen 6, whatever. So yeah, I know it's got a lot of faults for people, but for me, for what it's going to be, I'm just excited. I'm just excited about it. You're a bit dark.
Sorry, Isla. We weren't trying to distract from you. Jim, is everything all right?
It looks like you're having a rave.
I think we're gonna die. I'm good. I'm good.
11 will turn up behind you in a second.
I can hear buzzing.
Bad, stupid luck. Bad. Don't do it.
For all our audio listeners listening on iTunes and SoundCloud, James is having issues with his light.
Don't you dare.
So,
Don't do it.
next question. So, Ed on this one. Will this game please hardcore Pokemon fans?
Sorry, can I just stop everyone on Earth because I think an enormous Pokemon Go update has just happened midway through the show that we are discussing.
Which is what?
I think they just dropped Gen 4 evolutions. Let me just check with an Electabuzz. Let me just check with an Electabuzz. No. No, doesn't seem to be there.
No?
Weird.
No.
That people are sending me screenshots in the group.
There's no update.
Wouldn't that be Murkrow as well?
Yes, it would.
Let me check Murkrow.
What the hell? Maybe I need to reboot my game. Hang on, sorry. I'm just quickly rebooting.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Can you ask me that question?
Yeah, certainly.
Again?
Will this game please hardcore Pokemon fans?
No, it won't. Will it please people who are casual gamers, and will it bring in a new audience? Yes. Will it please the whingy people who love their breeding, love their IV hunting and stuff? Most likely not.
Definitely
Is
not.
that going to be a problem? Also, most likely not. This game is basically a way of going, it is live! Oh my god, it's live!
shit!
That's nuts!
Freaking item I need though. Look.
Dude, oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh,
Wait a
no,
minute,
I
let me
need
check
the
my shiny Magmar. Can I evolve it?
Dude, I have the 100. I have the 100 candy. I just need. Who has this item? I need this item.
It's happening live on the show.
Hang on, can
don't
you buy
need
the
that
item yet? You can't buy the item.
Oh, dude, I have the goddamn candy too.
I have the candies, I don't have the item.
Dude, and it's such a high CP Murkrow as well. Like that's
That's
gonna turn
nothing,
into
mate.
a
That's
beast.
nothing. That's nothing. I've
For
got
me, it
way
is.
there.
Have you seen the Pokestops I've got?
Mate, I'm gonna lose my shit. This
You're
is
like a
nuts.
person with a
I
Jaffa
could get a
cake
shiny Magmortar, mate.
inside a Jaffa cake. I'm outside the bins, mate, shoveling through the boxes, getting the crumbs.
Mate,
That's what I'm getting.
So
This is
that's a good
nuts.
point to wrap up that topic.
yeah, absolutely.
So, are you looking forward to Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee? Let us know down in the comments. Have you pre-ordered it? I'm personally going to be pre-ordering the game in the post-show, where these guys will be telling me basically which version to pre-order, whether or not I should go for Eevee or Pikachu. I'm kind of on the fence. I know which. I am leaning to one side, but we'll discuss it a little bit more in the post-show. So let us know down in the comments what your thoughts are and whether or not you pre-order it. Let us know down in the comments. Thank you so much. And that takes us to the end of the topic, guys. That's been a long main show. But amazing show. Thank you so much. So, Ed, will you be streaming Pokemon Let's Go?
Absolutely. I'd be a fool not to. I'm going to try doing shiny hunting because I've always been envious of people like Liam and Yoan who can do shiny hunts. I've never been able to do it because I don't have a capturable Pokemon medium, but now I can. It's going to be good.
So,
what about any of you guys? What about you, Isla? What about you, Jim? Are either of you guys going to be playing it and streaming
Yes, I will be streaming on Friday.
And I will not have a chance to play it properly until I go down to see Liam because I'm so busy. I've got no time.
But are you going to be doing a stream with Liam?
Probably. We'll probably stream when I'm going to.
There we go. See?
Any money. He's going to say, let's stream. And I'll be like, all right.
That's fine.
No,
I'm
that's
okay.
Edge Trainer
We
Liam.
haven't discussed it yet.
We've
but
been reconciled.
I imagine.
Because we can shiny hunt while watching you and Liam shiny hunt.
Yeah.
See?
Exactly.
Then we'll have a look. Oh, we'll multi. We'll do a
Oh my
multi.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Exciting.
Instead of a Pokemon orgy, it's going to be amazing.
I seriously can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it. It's been a long while since I've been excited about a Pokemon game, and yeah, I really am excited. For someone like me, I got into the first gen Pokemon, into the second one with Gold and Silver. I think they were the best games. I drifted away from it entirely, so this is starting to bring me back, and I can't wait. I
hope
feel
it
like
brings you into Gen 8. I hope you enjoy Gen 8 when it comes out. I think Gen 8 will be.
and I think this will be a good gateway back into the traditional Pokemon games. I think this is going to be a nice way for me to come back. Oh, his light's gone again.
Oh God.
Hey, it'll be the Haunting of
need
Hill
a new
House. The
one.
light will go on. There'll be somebody stood behind you.
Pointing out, if I shoot across the room, by the way, it's because it's making a funny noise.
But thank you so much, everybody, joining us for this live stream. Like I said, we're doing a competition. Better not forget that. Where if you leave a comment down below, you are instantly put in for the competition where we've got some of those pullbacks and stickers for Pokemon. These are kind of the pullbacks are quite cool as statues as well. So if you're doing live streams, you're going to be on camera. Good for putting on your shelf behind you. And also a pillowcase, which I'm using as a banner. It's cool as a banner. I like that. But yeah, so Ed, thank you so much for an amazing show. I love.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Roger, and also thank you, Jim. But thank you very much to Isla, who has been our newest guest. It's so lovely to have you on there.
It's been absolutely awesome.
Thank you
I
very much.
will warn you, Isla's like a drug, and you're only going to get it once now, and you're going to go into withdrawal. So you need to go and watch her videos now.
And also, I'll be pestering you, Isla, from now. I'll be like, are you free for another show?
Can put in my diary, man. This will be a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed this. Really enjoyed this.
But before we go, I did say I was going to refer to one of Isla's videos. And it was the video when you did the impressions of Pokemon.
Oh my god, that was so long ago. That was for like my 1,000 subscribers. I don't even do Pokemon content anymore. Okay, what do you want to do? What do you want to do?
I want to go around the room and hear everybody's impression of a Pokemon.
Oh god.
So, starting with Ed from GameHog, where you can follow him at GameHog Games. Your impression of your favorite Pokemon or any Pokemon. Go ahead.
My favorite Pokemon. Okay.
Cinder.
What the?
Amazing.
It's something like that.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
And go on then, James. Over to you, sir.
God damn you, Pikachu. Meowth, mate. Banging.
All right.
No, sigh.
By the way, I'm going to end on you on this one, by the way.
I don't know.
Oh my god, I don't remember any of my impressions from that video.
Oh, come on, Isla. You got to bang it out of the park now.
So over to me. Oh, God. Bulba!
Boba.
This is really bad.
Bulbasaur.
And to end the show, thank you very much, everybody. Isla, over to you. Your impression of a Pokemon.
Pika.
Hey!
Pikachu has had smoked far too many cigarettes.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. Obviously, we were doing a Pokemon-themed show, so there's a lot of things we didn't talk about. One of the things that was very sad news that Stan Lee, unfortunately, passed away a couple of days ago. One of the leading people, obviously, within comics. He brought Marvel around from bankruptcy up to being one of the leading comic companies, and now has obviously been bought by Disney and is one of the leading film franchises of all time. Our condolences go out to his friends and family, and he's been a legend and always will be. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week at 8 p.m. on Wednesday. Thank you so much. We'll see you, everybody who's watching live on the post show. Bye!
Bye, see?
Bye!